Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori and today we have on a very special guest. We have Jim Cowdell, the Executive Director of EDIC. Mm-hmm. I use the acronym.
That's okay.
But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Danny. Great to be here.
So let's start off easy.
Yes.
What's your role as the Executive Director?
So what is EDIC, right?
Yes, and what is EDIC?
So EDIC was created in 1977. It's the agency responsible for economic development for the City of Lynn. And so one of the big things that we do is we're a lender. And so we only do commercial loans, not residential loans, at a very low interest rate because it's government-funded money. Either the feds or the state give it to us. And we've been able to help out literally thousands of businesses over the 40-something years we've been in existence. So we're located in City Hall on the top floor, and we're here basically to either do one or two things: get new businesses to come to the city, and keep the ones that we do have here. So, yeah, it's a great job. I'm a Lynn product, so born and raised here, and so it's a great job.
Yeah, so you're a local, so you've probably seen a lot of changes through your job, through your work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as somebody who's getting up there in age, I can remember a lot of things, you know. I can remember the downtown when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Danny, people came from all over to go to downtown to do shopping. It was, you know, and then the late 70s came and the malls came. That's when the malls came to fruition. And so the malls were created. And that really, for a long period of time, the city struggled, the downtown, with where do we go from here? Mm-hmm. In fact, probably a lot of viewers won't remember this, but the city said, you know, the mall's a great idea. And they blocked off Union Street and created a pedestrian mall. And almost every business in that stretch went out of business. It was a abysmal failure. So I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. The 80s, there was a lot of drug and prostitution in the downtown that hurt businesses. But now the pendulum has completely swung, and you're seeing a lot of good things happening in our city, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, because you sent a few images. One of them was of Munroe Street. It looks drastically different than it did before. It looks like before it was just pretty much a parking lot, and now it's...
Yeah, so you can see the picture before and after. So the before, it was basically vacant lot of land. It had been vacant for many years. It produced about $2,000 a year in taxes. Today, and you can see that's a beautiful picture of Munroe Street. You know, there's over 200 people that now call downtown Lynn their home. Of course, COVID has come, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, but there will be a tremendous economic impact because people that are living in the downtown, they'll want to eat in the downtown, spend their money in the downtown. So we're excited about that. That project in the first year brought $1 million into the city coffers. So it really, and that money is unrestricted. It goes towards police and fire, et cetera. So, but, you know, we took a vacant lot and we created over 200 apartments there.
What is it? Looks very nice. And you mentioned it before too, trying to bring business in. One of the things you mentioned, and I remember they did a tour, was for life science, trying to attract some of those businesses to the city as well.
Yeah, we need jobs, you know. Back in the 80s, I worked at the GE. We're seeing smaller jobs opening up, you know, but it would be nice to land a life science that brings not only jobs to the city, but they would partner with the Lynn Tech, our school at North Shore Community College. So it would be jobs for Lynn people, and they're really good paying jobs. And that's what we're shooting for. We had a developers tour, as you mentioned. We had over 70 people come that wanted to see specific sites to see if they could open up life sciences here. So that's just an example of some of the things we're trying to do right now.
Which is great. It definitely sounds like it gets a lot of attention too, because it's Lynn is one of, what do you say, only 2 municipalities in Massachusetts that's a member of the Mass Bio Council. That's impressive.
Yeah, and so we go to the meetings. We're always networking, trying to recruit. If I can't sell in, I've been here my whole life, then I'm in trouble, right? I shouldn't be in this job. So it's an easy sell for us. And as I said, we really want people to be able to work and live here. So.
And kind of running into that, I said, you mentioned Munroe Street, which is a project that's been completed. Another thing you mentioned was the Linway Mart, which is kind of an in process. Like it hasn't been completed, but it is an idea that you had. So you sent a few images of that too, which did you want to talk about what you wanted to create there?
So Danny, when you look at the Lynnway, you really see mistake after mistake. It's on the Atlantic Ocean. You see used car, dealerships. You see fast food restaurants, et cetera. And so we had a waterfront master plan developed after 19 public meetings, so everybody had a chance. And so like the Lynnway Mart, which has recently been torn down, so that's not there now, but that was a flea market right on the Atlantic Ocean. So that's being replaced, this is December. The end of this month, you'll start to see construction of the first phase, which is that beautiful building on the right. First floor commercial space, and then residential. And then you'll start to see the waterfront develop. There are major plans for the waterfront.
Yes.
So, yeah, and so this is the next view. So in the middle where it says Harbor Park, that was a landfill. So when I was a kid, the city's trash was brought there. I mean, it's right on the ocean. So that is being transformed from the current landfill into a 30-acre park. Because one of the things that came out of those public meetings was people wanted not just to see, housing on the waterfront. They wanted housing, but they wanted shops and restaurants. But they also wanted a place where you could bring your family and just, have some nice green space. So the governor was here yesterday, right? And he couldn't believe, we took him up top, he couldn't believe the views that are up on top. And so you're going to see over the next 2 to 3 years the creation of that harbor park. And that's some more details of it. There'll be ball courts, there'll be paths, but basically it's opening up an area, and I keep saying, but I've lived here my whole life, we've never gone down there. You'd have no reason to go down there. It'll open it up for generations to come, and people will come from all over to see that. It's very similar to Spectacle Island, and so, so it'll really be transformative.
Definitely looks like it. I said I love the idea of a park and so much more right next to the ocean, even like Red Rock Park that we have. I love going there because it does. It's amazing views and it's just such a great place to go and do. I'm trying to read all this, so many different things and so many views too. It's
important as we're developing our waterfront. You don't want to have every inch covered with buildings. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for restaurants and shops, but we're also looking for housing. But we want people to be able to come down and enjoy the beautiful ocean. So,
definitely.
Similar to Inshore Drive, as you referenced, right?
Yes, similar to that. Which definitely. I mean, grew up in Swampscott, so I love the ocean. I love getting to come down and see it. It's one of my favorite parts of it. And another thing you mentioned, getting off slightly, but another thing you had mentioned before was how much you. Not only adding additional businesses, but helping existing ones, like with COVID relief. You had a huge piece of that from the numbers that you sent.
We keep trying to put COVID in the rearview mirror. It impacted businesses. You'd have to go back to the Great Depression to find something that had such a horrific impact on businesses. How about this for a fact? 1 out of 4 restaurants across the country closed their doors forever. Forever. And so I think I sent over some of the money that we distributed for COVID. Oh, there it is, And so you can see that we gave out almost $10 million to 766 businesses. And really a great stat that a little bit over 80% of those businesses were minority female owned. And so I was really proud of that. But you can see that it was not just EDIC, it was the feds, the HUD, as well as state. And then the mayor and the city council, Mayor Nicholson and the city council authorized $3 million in ARPA funds. And we haven't given, you can see there's still 123,000 left. So if there are any businesses out there that haven't applied, because we still have a little bit of money left. But businesses were really impacted negatively by COVID, and so they're still trying to, they didn't need loans, they needed grants to pay their electric bill, to pay their leases, and so that has really been very rewarding. I think at least 25% of the folks that we gave checks to, they had tears in their eyes, they were so appreciative of it, so it has really been rewarding, so.
And even just here on Union Street, I can see there's so many locally owned businesses, family owned businesses that they're unique and they're here, and you would hate to see them close because of that.
No, like my Guatemala bakery, for instance, right over here, right? You come down here on a Saturday morning and people are coming down for their pan, their bread. you know, drastically impacted by COVID because, you know, people couldn't come and it really hurt. But so COVID, we're trying to put it in the rearview mirror. There's still a little bit of money to give out for businesses that haven't applied yet.
And one final thing I'll ask you about is, I'm going to mess up his name, Solyan?
Solyan, yeah, that's
Oh
a
my God,
company.
you say this.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's what. Listen, nobody in Lynn knows who they are, so that's okay.
So that's why we're mentioning it. You
that's
said they
right.
are coming to
That's right. So we talk about jobs, right?
Yes.
So Solyan is a startup company, right? They have like 7 employees now. They are about to take off. And so it says on the slide that they manufacture smart textiles. But what they, you know, one of the things they landed a big contract within the last couple of months with the Department of Defense, they make waterproof tents. So the Army like love them. They make not water resistant, but waterproof garments. And so they're landing these huge contracts. So they're going to expand rapidly. So they're located on Farrar Street, which is downtown Lynn. And so the Mayor Nicholson, myself, we really courted them. And we worked hand in hand with the state so that they would come here. So they will be here. They closed on the property on Farrar Street, very timely, about 10 days ago. So they just closed on that property. Yep. And so you'll see that property being built out. And as it says, they'll create 105 jobs over 5 years. These are high-paying jobs. They're $87,000 a year. So we gave them a tax incentive to come to Lynn, but the deal was this. We'll give you the tax incentive, but you're going to hire Lynn people, right? And so they understand that. So that's what they'll be doing. They'll be partnering with Lynn Tech as a feeder program. Many of the jobs are machinist types jobs, which is perfect, you know, as a feeder out of Lynn Tech.
Oh, yeah.
But these are $87,000 a year average salary. That's what we need in the city. We need jobs that people can afford, you know, to buy property here, to stay here. And so we're really psyched about that. Just happening. Probably takes 6 to 10 months on the build out. So we're a little bit of ways, but very timely. Yeah.
It is perfect timing
Yes,
for this.
that's right.
I'll pretend like I planned that.
Good job.
Well, you have so many amazing things going on, and I want to thank you again for coming on to talk about it, give more information to everyone in Lynn about what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's out there that's looking to start up a job or a business, come see us. One of the things we offer for free, we work with the chamber on this, is if you have an idea, like let's say you've been passionate about opening up a restaurant, but you really don't know, you know, where to go next. We help create a business plan for you so that is a document that you could take to a lender or you could take it to us to finance it. So if you come to us and you say, I need 10,000 square feet of space, we can help you find that space. So we work with all the brokers, but this is a great city. It really is. I know that people outside of the city, sometimes they only hear bad things about us, but as you know, this is a really nice city. Best people I've ever met in my life are from Lynn, so I'm really proud of the city and what we're doing.
Oh, it is. It's a phenomenal city.
Yeah.
It really is great. And thank you again for coming
you.
on to talk about it.
Yep.
And I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week with more guests.